Okay, here we go. Speed.
Say Pink Floyd, Nate interview or something.
Okay, Pink Floyd, Nate interview.
The guitarist clap.
Cool. I'm Josh Thomas, the guitarist.
Hayden Cossett, Pink Floyd interview.
This is Spencer Dean with the Pink Floyd interview behind the scenes. Speed marker, yeah, okay, action.
I played the drums, obviously, but then I both made the click track and cut down the movie to match the click track.
I kind of helped organize roles and who was going to do what. Most of it came from volunteer, but then just kind of checking in to make sure that all came together and was working. And then as well as that, I was also doing a lot of the light design for the show as well. So yeah, and then I did do a little bit of the recording for the vocals that you hear in the background, some of the voice lines, and then a little bit of sampling as well for the sound effects in the show.
Other than playing bass in the show, I helped with some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I did the video animation that was playing in the background of the album cover, and I helped with some of the lighting design as well.
For the show, I was the lead audio technician. I kind of did a little bit of everything where it needed to happen. Obviously, my main focus was making it sound good, but about a week before the show, Josh hit me up and was just like, hey, want to help us do the light show? So I kind of jumped in on that side of things as well.
So yeah, for the click track, that was kind of the foundation of the entire show.
Honestly, with the click track, I think the hardest part was getting the right tempos and not making it feel unnatural. So like in one section, like in a verse, it'd be like 120 BPM, but then going into the chorus, it would speed up like 20 clicks. So that was probably the most challenging part.
Back then, I don't think they were using a click track when they were recording the album, because it wobbles everywhere.
So I just kind of took averages and then like matched the audio speed to the click speed and then averaged it out.
Inputted the entire album into a Logic program, averaged it out, made a click track that went from track to track seamlessly, and then after that, we found where those vocal cues needed to be.
Yeah, I added vocal cues in every tune, and I would just say like verse, chorus, sax solo, guitar solo, whatever it is. And if it was a big moment that didn't want to miss it, you know.
Anything that we knew that we would need a heads up on, because click is kind of the same sound, it's a little monotonous.
It's just a lot of click for 45 minutes.
So yeah, we stayed up till about 4 a.m. the night before rehearsal, just recording literally verse 1, 2, 3, 4.
Say going into like Great Gig in the Sky, I would just say Great Gig in the Sky, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'd be in.
For probably 6 or so hours, just getting it ready for the rehearsal to where we could play along with it for the first time. So that was kind of the tediousness of that.
There was one rehearsal where Hayden recorded the whole thing as we played with the click track. So then we could use that to both program the lights and the movie, all the hits and everything. So it gave it basically just a soundtrack.
After we figured out the BPM issue and creating averages, that helped kind of set the foundation, like I said. Another issue we kept running into was just practicing and learning how to play with a click like this, where it is nonstop for 45 minutes. If you're off, you have to find your way back on, because it's moving without you. There's no cushion of moving to kind of fit the rest of the band anymore. You are fixating yourself to that click.
There was a lot going on, especially getting people hearing what they needed to hear, because like Nate made the vocal cues, so figuring out how could the performers be hearing those without the house hearing them. And that was something I'd never really done before, working with a click track. It was definitely different.
And then there's a lot of tech issues, trying to get like monitors set up so we could all hear it well. A lot of us had headphones on for this show and for our rehearsals, which is new.
Just getting as many, I think the whole band had headphones on for the show, except for the singers. So I think that helped a lot, because on stage during the performance, it's less noise happening, which makes my life easier.
There's more tech involved, and that was new to everybody, and just being able to adapt really fast and make it work for you.
One big issue was there was a lot of noise happening. It's a rock and roll concert, and especially in that hall, like the concert hall here is designed for more acoustic purposes and works great for an orchestra, but if you throw a rock band in there, it's a different story. I mean, so we had the pipe and drape, which helped a lot, but even then it was just getting it for the singers to be able to hear themselves and pumping their monitors up just enough to where it's a comfortable level, but without everything exploding on me, you know? So that was a bit of a challenge.
I have a whole new appreciation for tech, and also the chaos that is running sound, like live sound, is so hard and challenging, and I appreciate all the people that want to do that for a living, because I feel like it's 80% negative comments being made to you, and then the rest of the time you're pretty much just getting ignored.
Even just making the vocalists really stand out, like with all the amps cranked and everything just pumping, it's easy for them to get lost. So just finding that perfect balance between how much guitar solo or in-your-face snare drum do we want, and how much are we trying to hear the words that they're actually singing. So that's always a delicate balance.
Other issues on the lighting side, we had to make sure everything was triple checked right before we started making all of our presets.
About a week or so before Josh talked to me about doing some of the lighting design, it was just a couple of us that have never done any lighting design before decided to just learn how to do it.
That was something I've never done before, and that was pretty much just watch some YouTube videos, see if you can figure it out.
We programmed all the lights to individual MIDI tracks using presets and banks within ShowBuddy. And so all we had to do then was select the bank and then program each individual MIDI track to cue different light presets that we made throughout the entire show. So we had to make every single change in the lights that you see is something that we programmed, and then we're just cycling throughout the entire show.
This happens, I think, learning any program. You learn one way to do things, and it ends up not being the most efficient way. So a lot of that happened with running the lighting programs, and it's, we're figuring out how to time things up with, blinking on beat or having all the lights follow each other, something like that. And just in hindsight, looking back, there were a lot of easier ways to do it, but ultimately I think it turned out how we wanted it to turn out.
And also making sure that software was able to read the MIDI. I spent probably 6 hours or so trying to figure out why it wouldn't, and it was just one little box I didn't click, and that's all it was. It was just MIDI 2.0. I don't know why it was off, but we fixed it and it worked. Otherwise, I would have had to do something entirely different or scrap the lights altogether, which didn't want to do that.
And the interesting thing was I was programming without having anything set up, so I didn't know how anything would look. So it was just kind of shotgunning it and hoping for the best.
So we had 10 banks, one per song, and then each of those had anywhere from 10 to, I think the last one had almost 20. So we programmed over 100 different presets for this entire show.
Setting them up at first was a little stressful because we couldn't figure out why certain things weren't working. How many channels did we have? How was everything addressed? How was everything running through the computer? And a lot of things like that we had to just iron out. So, staying up super late, more late than I'm willing to admit, than some nights before, just going through the whole show, making sure everything lined up.
We made a stage plot and we assigned every single light that we were going to have on stage to a stage plot and like a plot list, input list, to make sure every single fader was properly set up in the right place and nothing was wrong. And again, went through that 3 times to make sure there's not a single issue that could pop up. And then during the show, making sure all of those were connected properly to work properly, make sure channels were all set. Just all these tiny little details that could throw everything off. We had to just be super thorough about.
Meeting up with like Spencer, Nate, and Josh, and just like getting together and troubleshooting. I feel like it came together because there was an outside effort to make it happen.
You can't do a Pink Floyd show without lights and lasers and all of the things that make like Pink Floyd such a spectacle. And we wanted to do that as authentic as possible.
We decided we wanted to get a really nice, high-quality video of it. So yeah, we tracked down as many cameras as we could. I think we ended up getting 6 camera angles. We had a couple out in the audience from sort of an audience perspective. We had some on the stage, some right up close, right next to the performers. We had a couple moving around the audience. You know, we had one really far out zooming. We were just trying to get everything we could. And so, yeah, then the idea was to take the multi-track of that and put all of this video together. So I'm kind of taking charge of that. In setting all the angles, I was involved in that, and then also in editing this video, lining everything up and getting it all put together.
I think as a whole, this was like the most like ambitious thing like I've done in any ensemble, and I feel like it was mainly the students who like took it upon themselves. And I don't know, I feel like I think I can speak for all of us, but it's like there's a lot of pride in like what we accomplished.
Just everyone getting excited to be a part of this project was really fun, and I think that's what made this show so great, because I think all of us were kind of wearing this badge of honor, like to be able to pull it off and do it so well and really invest the time to make it great.
Like the night before, we were still like figuring it out, and it just all came together. And I don't know, I'm just like proud to be a part of it, and like I think it turned out great. It feels good to do something that, I don't know, takes a lot of ambition, I guess, and vision ahead of time.
I think the show, for what it was and for all that went into it, I am extremely happy with how it turned out. There were so many moving parts that could have gone wrong and did go wrong up until, you know, the night before the show. But then that day, once we were there, once we started performing, once we walked out on stage, everything just lined up so well, and we couldn't have asked for it to go any better.
I'd say all in all, it was positive. It was a growing experience for me, and just to be subjected to large amounts of stress and to not throw any fists, I feel like, I don't know, it was just a nice confidence boost to be able to see it successfully done.
It's just so much fun to be a part of this, something like this, and to be not only performing, but then to learn all of these new skills in such a short amount of time was a really cool experience, and something that I'll definitely remember. And I think any opportunity for something like that is a great idea.
I think the biggest thing I learned is to be able to trust people to do something like this, and for people to volunteer and like say they're going to work on something, and then just being able to trust that they're going to do it while doing checkups and things like that. But just really knowing that it's not a one-man team, but a whole team, and all I'm doing is helping to organize. I think that was a really good lesson for me, and I'm very proud of what came out of the show, and I'm very proud of all the work that was put into it, and it is something that I think will stand out above all the other shows that we've done so far at the school.
The lasers and the smoke coming and even like the projection they had in the back, like all those small extra things really made it something special that I feel like doesn't come around so often.